Hi everyone, I'm Marla Miller from marlamiller.com presenting the 103rd Quick Query Critique. Sounds like the cavalry, doesn't it? This one is a redo of a Skype session, and I'd like to give this author some feedback while this is while our Skype session is still fresh. We had it this week. So she then took what we talked about in the session, and let's see if she hasn't hooked a bit more than she did in the last letter. Dear Blank, I'm a Christian woman married to a recovering alcoholic, and I own a world-famous biker bar. I'm seeking representation for my 385-page memoir entitled Miracles and Grace in an Unlikely Place. How did this happen? How had my life become such a mess? When I bought Johnny's Bar and Grill in Hollister, California in 1995, I didn't realize what a piece of history I was purchasing. The once thriving bar had been in a steady decline, so I got it for a good price. I had years of experience in the industry and believed that with my congenial and hospitable personality, I could put it back on its feet. I'd always wanted a place of my own, and this was my golden opportunity. At first, life at Johnny's was a never-ending party. Our regular customers were our family, and Johnny soon became the cheers of Hollister. My husband Tommy soon quit his full-time job, and his plan to start his own handyman business eroded while he enjoyed a life void of responsibilities, drowning in vodka and Jack Daniels, while his codependent wife diligently worked to keep things going and pay the bills. I knew my husband was an alcoholic when I bought the bar, but ignored the obvious pitfall. I couldn't have purchased Johnny's at a more perfect time. The 50th anniversary of the famed Hollister riots that gave birth to the movie The Wild One was fast approaching, and bikers from all over the world planned a July 4th visit to our town. More than 100,000 people descended upon the city, and everyone wanted to see the famous Johnny's that rebel bikers drove their motorcycles through in 1947. The 1997 Hollister motorcycle rally nearly killed me. I never worked so hard, but the profits were phenomenal. Almost from the start, I did most of the work while my husband disappeared into the abyss of alcohol. I worked as hard as he drank, and within 4 years, I quadrupled the business. As my business life flourished, my personal life disintegrated. We fought almost constantly, and our disrespect for each other was easily visible to our customers and employees. I morphed into a controlling, nagging bitch that even my employees didn't care much for. Somehow it still shocked me when Johnny asked me for a divorce, which sent my life into a tailspin, and two choices presented themselves: bury my sorrows in the bottle and my business, or go back to my Christian roots and dependence on God. I chose the latter. As owner of Johnny's, I have a built-in market for my book. The Booze Fighter Motorcycle Club that has called Johnny's home since 1947 has hundreds of chapters in the United States and abroad, and members are anxious to read my story. Motorcycle rallies and shows offer a wide audience for my book, and my husband and I have a toy hauler trailer and are ready to hit the road. Bikers and non-bikers alike are interested in Johnny's history and Hollister's debunked motorcycle rally, and those tales are weaved throughout my story. Thank you for your time and consideration. Okay, so what do I think about this memoir? I'm just watching the time. I will tell you that the challenge that this writer has, in my opinion, is weaving in these two major stories, which is her finding her God again, and that precipitated by the her husband's alcoholism and his request for a divorce, and Johnny's Bar and Grill. So here's the strength of this query letter. The strength of this query letter is that, number one, she's a pretty darn good writer. I think that she's a good storyteller, and I don't know that she can deliver an entire book, 385-page memoir, which is a little long, but that's not the biggest concern. The biggest concern is, why would any agent ask to read the first couple of chapters? Memoirs are alcoholism and death and divorce are really the subject of so many memoirs that if you're going to be writing about addiction, and actually God, because I think God's in a whole lot of memoirs too. What is it about this particular memoir that would make an agent go, haven't read that angle yet? I've read about God, finding God when, you're down and out and you've got nothing, when you've hit your bottom, and then you either go further or you find God, Lots of memoirs about that. Lots of memoirs about addiction and getting saved from addiction or saving yourself from addiction. So what's unique about, and lots of memoirs about, maybe not as many, about codependency. I think there's a lot on codependency, though. So why is it that we would want to read another one? Well, we'd want to read it because of Johnny's, wouldn't we? And that's really the strength of this memoir. And this is nothing personal, you know, not diminishing this writer's life experience of marrying an alcoholic and then buying a bar, knowing full well that he was an alcoholic, and understanding that she is a codependent. Not diminishing any of that, because God knows there's plenty of folks out there who understand, you know, this pathway. But what I absolutely think an agent would say I want to read more about is because of this bar. And at this point, she still hasn't woven together how, as her personal life went to hell in a handbasket, no pun intended, that her professional life was skyrocketing. And her professional life includes an iconic bar that was featured in a movie that lots of people know about, and that bikers are really devoted to. And remember that the biking community, of, you know, if you believe in this concept of tribe, they're a huge tribe, and I think that they're quite loyal to each other. And she's got a built-in market. That's why an agent would be interested in this. And so I think that this writer has the best chance of hooking an agent if she can get some of that into this query letter. If she could get a mini scene that involves, you know, her husband hitting bottom, the divorce, finding God, and the resurrection of this bar that she did all by herself because her husband Tommy was in a blackout. That to me is a story that, as an agent, I'd want to know that. And I'd be excited because of the market that this writer potentially has waiting for a book like this. So I think she's got to do more of this intersecting of her personal life going down, professional life coming up, and the spotlight of that being Johnny's bar, as well as, you know, perhaps her Christian re-identification. I believe she went back to her Christian roots. So I hope that this is helpful, but I really think that this query letter would be very well served if she could give us a little taste of all that in her review of what this story, now titled Miracles and Grace in an Unlikely Place, is all about. I hope this is helpful. Until the next time, be well, keep writing, and happy holidays to all.